Hello everyone, so today we are going to do Leetcode daily challenge unique paths. So in this question, there is a robot which basically you want to go to the finished position in this particular M cross N grid. Yes. And the robot is basically on the top left corner and a position is at the bottom left corner, or bottom right corner, basically at the grid M minus N minus. The robot can move either down or right at any point. So we are given with these constraint that it could not move in all four directions, but it could only move either towards the down or towards the right. So we would be given with two integers which will basically represent the dimension of the grid, and we are required to return possible unique paths that robots can take to reach the bottom right corner. So here what it meant by possible unique paths is that all the paths which it could take without overlapping with the other possibilities. So that's the thing which we are required to return. And this simply depicts that we can use DP here. That's the thing. And now, because the constraints are much lower, that it doesn't exceed the 10 raised to power 9. This is the thing it is wanted to depict. Now comes the part C. If we see this grid, here there are a lot of possibilities that at this particular position it can go towards right also and down also, right? So then again at this position it can go towards right or it could go towards down. So when it reaches at this position, then it checks that how it reached this position, then there were two possible ways before, right? And when it reaches towards the right, then it can say that it checks for all the possibilities, that how many possible ways are there. So it checks towards the left side and towards the upside. So in total it got three possibilities, because there were two ways to reach the previous position towards the left, so including the way it reached the previous position and even the way it reached the upwards previous position, we just added up, and thus till now we have got three unique positions. See, at this particular point, if we take just this much point of the grid, right, and this is the finishing point and this is the starting point, so it can go here, means our answer is 3, right, and it go towards the down. Now one way could be this, another way could be this, right, and then it could directly reach at this position. So reaching at this point, how it reached, basically one way was this one, means by this, and this other way was this one by directly reaching at this point. The third way, it was this one. Another ways are basically overlap with each other, so that's why we just considered all these three positions here, because it could now at this point when it goes here, so like this it reaches at this point, and thus 3 becomes the answer at this point without overlapping with any other, because till now it has reached at this point. So from here we got to this point, so that it can't say that it is overlapping at this point. It just got from this way and just got here. So this is the thing here. The answer is 3 and all positions are unique. Now we have understood about this particular question. Now comes the part of coding, that how we are required to code this question, the way we are forming it. So see, in Fibonacci series, how the things were. The things were something like this, that we were given with 0 and 1, and then we added 0 and 1 to got the 1. Then 1 and 1 were added to get the 2. Then 2 and 1 was added to get the 3, right? So like this we were adding the previous states which were there, and our main state was dp of I, and the transition which was proceeded with was dp of I minus 1 and dp of I minus 2. Basically getting the previous two elements and adding them up. So now in this question, we are required to do the same thing, but this thing is required to be done in 2D manner. So our state would be dp of ij, but here transition would be something like, it will be checking for last two states, right? But the last two states would be in that manner, that one would be in the upward direction and the other one would be in the leftwards direction. So the question would be, so our states would be something like the dp of I minus 1 for checking just the upward row which goes towards down, and just checking towards the leftward rows which goes towards the right. So this is the thing how these two states are being determined here, and this remains constant because we are required to go towards the upward at that block only and go towards the leftward at that block only. So that's why this question boils down to 2D Fibonacci only. Yeah. Now, in like this, here how we were doing was, we were starting from I equals to 2, because at dp of 0, we were having the 0, and dp of 1, we were having the 1. So that's why we were required to start from 2, so that at I minus 1 and I minus 2, we could consider these positions. So here, the things are that we would be earlier filling up the hole with 1, means our whole grid would be filled with 1, because at every possible position, minimum there is the one path which we can have. So that's why we are filling the whole grid with 1. And here we will be starting from I equals to 1, because our dp of 0 means our dp of 0, 0, then our dp of 0, at 1, 1 we would be starting, at 0, 1, and our dp of 1, 0. So at all these positions we would be already filled with 1, because our whole dp is already filled with 1. So for considering these things, we would be starting from I equals to 1, because at a particular point, the way I had shown in that particular 3D one, if I take just 4 blocks also, 0, 1, 0, 1, then 1, 1 would be already filled at all blocks. But to reach at this particular block, means at this block, we can go by this way and we can go by this way. Means only 2 ways are possible, right? So for adding up those 2 ways, we just require these 2 blocks only, right? So that's why when we add up these 2, then it becomes 2. So in that manner, we can even discard this particular position. But the thing is, in future but this particular position is being required for this part also. But here the thing is that basically we are just going ahead with the same. So we are just discarding this one. We are just starting with this particular position only. And thus we get the answer 2. If we would have considered from this particular 0, 0, then surely there would have been. But we are taking this in that consideration only, so that we could get that answer till the end without duplicating anything, because this one is already being considered in this and this position. So here was all about this question. Now comes the part of time complexity and space complexity. So the time complexity of this particular question is because we would be running a loop which would be overlapping each other, means a nested loop. So that's why our time complexity would be n into m. But as space complexity, there is internet issue, that's why it is not writing. So just I'm speaking that as time complexity is basically n into m, and even the space complexity is also n into m because of the dp array which we would be taking. So this was all for this particular question. If you have any doubt, you could directly comment it down, and do like and subscribe to me. And thank you.